I couldn't stay here just watching, not taking action and responsibility. I just followed my father instinct. Of course, many times I was afraid. Of course, there were snipers above my head and bombs and attacking, and I was dead, maybe. Oh, sniper. I thought in my head, there is love for my son, and if there is a God, I will find my son.
They're just coming from the front and they're wounded. You see his hands, near his finger.
Posing with rebel fighters, this is the incredible story of one father's desperate search, of his audacious journeys into a war zone to track down his jihadi son, and of the risks he continues to take to help other families.
It's so sad that parents like me and so many thousands of parents worldwide are standing alone, that nobody's helping them. It's disgusting, really. It's selfish, believe me.
It's here in the Belgian city of Antwerp where our story begins, a tale of radicalisation and of a father's sense of helplessness as he watched his son's descent into extremism.
We see that something is going wrong, and of course we know why, because he was a member, he became a member, they selected and recruited him for Syria for Belgium, a radical Salafist extremist organization, Islam organization. Who changed the attitude of our Western child, who changed our son, who indoctrinate them, who brainwash our son, who totally take our Western child from his own parents.
This is Dimitri Bontinck. An accomplished breakdancer, he appeared in a number of Belgian music videos. But soon after he converted to Islam, the teenager began to show signs of radicalisation. He became increasingly distant from his family. In their desperation, they reached out to the authorities for help. But his father Dimitri says their concerns were ignored.
It was a nightmare, really, very painful for us to see that our own son, all what we teach him, what we educated him, that it's totally gone like the wind, like a ghost, gone in the air. This was very painful for us as parents. And of course we ask help everywhere, by the police, by the authorities, by youth organizations. Please help us, because we see that something is going wrong. We see that it's not good for his future, and they were just watching. The answer was, we are living in a democracy, you have freedom of speech, you have freedom of religion, you have freedom of organization. So it was very sad for us, very sad, very painful.
Like so many European cities, Antwerp is grappling with an extremism problem. Dozens of young local men have travelled to Syria to fight alongside rebel groups. Dimitri Bontinck took that same journey. It left his family devastated.
It was terrible for us, believe me. I couldn't sleep anymore. We were in a tragedy. I don't have words for it, believe me. What happens is that this international mechanism change him, indoctrinate him, change totally his life, his ideology, everything in all kinds of ways, and step by step prepare him to send him to conflict area like Syria. And today it's still going on, not only by physical organizations, but also by social media, by internet.
Dimitri says he tried repeatedly but failed to get any help from the Belgian police or government in tracking down his son. Eventually he took the extraordinary decision to go after his son himself, chronicling his journey in a video diary.
U hoort het. Voilà. Dus, voilà, u hoort het.
I follow a father instinct. I follow my heart, not without my son, you know. I couldn't stay here just watching, not taking action and responsibility. I just follow my father heart, a father instinct, you know.
This is Dimitri on the Syria-Turkey border, at the start of what would be an almost year-long hunt for his son.
It was a danger mission, believe me. I risked my life. I met many fighting groups, Jabhat al-Nusra, Al-Tawhid, so many fighting groups, also the creation of ISIS. That time the name of the fighting group was Muslim Shura Council of Mujahideen. Of course, many times I was afraid.
Indeed, all around were the sights and sounds of war.
Mee live uit Aleppo, maar nu de andere kant van de wijk, samen met ons team.
Totale chaos. vandaag zondag.
He toured local hospitals looking for his son. All he found, though, were many graphic examples of the human cost of this civil war. Here he's making his way through the rubble-strewn streets of Aleppo under the cover of darkness, but the danger is ever present.
Oh, sniper! Of course, there were snipers above my head and bombs and attacking, and when we were driving with the car, maybe the racket fall down on the car and I was dead, maybe.
But as a former Belgian soldier, Dimitri was more comfortable than most around this war zone, befriending many rebels fighting the Assad regime, even posing with their weapons.
Freedom for Syria. Victory for Syria. Freedom for Syria. Maar dat heb ik niet graag met de Jihad.
It was an amazing mission. Why? Because in Syria I have seen the true meaning of Islam, the good Islam and the bad Islam. So I got a lot of support of Syrian people because for them it was amazing that a father from the West, who is not a Muslim, risked his own life to come to a war zone without support, without solidarity, without respect of his own selfish government, to find his missing son, a son who became one of them, who became a mujahideen for them. So it was really amazing for them. So they helped me, they support me. So I respect them and understand them, these Syrian people.
But some rebel groups were more suspicious of this Western father. At one point he was taken prisoner, suspected of spying.
They put the cap above my head and handcuffed me and beating me from here and from here. It took 3 weeks before I could breathe normally. That time I was thinking, is it all worth to risk my life to search my missing son? But I thought in my head, there is love for my son, and if there is a God, they will release me and I will find my son. And they released me.
In fact, he says, the vast majority of Syrians couldn't do enough to help him track down his son.
You show your big picture, your son, but yes. He say doesn't him. But we must meet him for ask about your son.
Yeah.
Okay?
After 3 trips to Syria, Dimitri was eventually able to rescue his son and bring him home.
The first time I met my son physically, it was very emotional. And I really hold him like a small baby. We were crying, like 2 minutes.
Did he want to come back?
Of course, absolutely. Because he know that he have been used by the wrong friends, by the wrong people. He know that he have been, let us call it naive, but he know that he have been really used by the wrong friends and by the wrong people. And in Syria, his eyes go open that they use him.
Dimitri Bontinck told his father when he became disillusioned and desperate to leave Syria, he was locked up by rebel groups as punishment. At one point held in a cell alongside British hostage John Cantley and US journalist James Foley, who was later murdered by Islamic State.
They spent a lot of time. My son learned a lot from John Cantley and from James. Knowledge about making his own computer, how to build his own computer. Really, they were like spiritual fathers for my son, because you know they're older than my son and they learned him a lot about journalism and all these kind of things.
Now back home, news of Dimitri's rescue mission has spread quickly among other families worldwide. Osana Rodriguez's teenage son ran off to Syria last year. Brian de Mulder also converted to Islam in Antwerp before becoming radicalized. His mother fell apart, attempting suicide, before Dimitri offered to help.
Dimitri talks to people, parents that have lost their kids, but the authorities don't want to help. They don't care, and there's no support. I was praying to God that Dimitri would see my son and bring him back, but it didn't work out that way.
Although Dimitri has made contact with Osana's son, he's refusing to come home.
I met Dimitri through our shared experience of sons running off to Syria, and that's how we started talking on the phone. And we spoke about our children, the pain that we had, the loss that we felt for our children. And I thank God that Dimitri got his son back. Unfortunately, my son still hasn't come back.
But Dimitri knows those he brings back could face prosecution, like his son, now at the centre of a huge terrorism trial in Belgium, accused with more than 40 others of being part of a banned terror group. His father continues to support him, attending court every day, and he's highly critical of Western governments for criminalising rather than helping those who've been radicalised.
With this wrong attitude and this stigmatization, they're creating more frustration against the West. They're creating more violence against the West. It's totally wrong. It's totally wrong.
The former soldier claims dozens of other families have sought his help, including some from Britain.
I thought I would never return to Syria. But you know, when parents, when mothers are calling me and crying on the phone and telling them that nobody is helping them, that they're standing completely alone, and that governments are just watching and doing nothing. And when they ask to meet me, I'm not going to say no, because I was in the same tragedy, in the same nightmare as them. So of course they will come to meet me. And when a mother is crying in my presence, in my face, and begging me, please help me, you think I'm going to say no?
Dimitri has journeyed to Syria 8 times now. The risks are obvious. But the father who rescued his own son from the clutches of the jihadists will soon be back there again, determined to help other families.